All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to week 2. If you don't know me, my name is Natalie Shower. And I just love Advent. We do Bible studies with our team weekly, and we just love them so much. And we have really just decided to dive into Advent this season. And we're not following a book or anything. To be honest, I couldn't find something that kind of fit the model of what I was looking for like a weekly Bible study with our team that expressed these themes in a way that I was really hoping for. So I just kind of let the Lord lead me, and we are piecing together our own Advent Bible study. But I feel pretty good about it because, like I said, I've really let the Lord lead this thing. So last week we talked on hope. Okay, so remember, there's 4 themes in Advent. There's hope, peace, love, and joy. Joy and love, I think, is the order we're going in. And so each week is a different theme. And what I love about Advent is it causes us to take these words that we listen to or hear or use all of the time, honestly, in our everyday language. And it allows us to really go back to the root meaning of what these words actually mean. And there is so much more depth to the words hope, peace, joy, and love than we can even imagine, first of all. But the fact that they are just such a heavy part of our just normal language every day, even people that don't know Jesus will use the words peace, hope, whatever. They'll use those same words too. So what I love about Advent is it causes us to go back and really just dig into what these words actually mean and how rooted in scripture these words are, and just basically taking everything that Satan has tried to do to these words and twist them or whatever and put them back into their original meaning in Jesus. And so I think Advent is so important. I'm a music girl. So I grew up, singing Christmas carols and in the choir and in theater and all. So I love Christmas music. And a lot of these songs, I grew up singing in my church. And so I also love being able to take a lot of these songs and kind of going back to the original meaning and taking them back to when they were written and how they were written and why. So this is kind of the model, I guess, is our Advent study is, we'll kind of take a song, we'll break it down a little bit, talk about what the word in that our theme of the week is in that song, and then kind of talk about what, how God intended for that theme to be used, how it's being used today, and so on. So anyways, so last week we talked about hope. We talked about hope is actually, we use it like, oh, I really hope that happens. Oh, I hope we get to go this place next year, whatever. But we don't really do anything. We just kind of hope for things, right? Well, that's actually not hope. That's wishing. That's wishing for things. Hope is a confident expectation. So if you are confidently expecting that to happen and you're putting things into action to make those things happen, that is true hope. Hope actually usually takes action. Okay. It takes a getting into action, getting into motion of some sort. It's a confident expectation, right? And we talked about in the song, Oh Holy Night, when they talk about the thrill of hope, we talked about Jesus came at a time where nobody had heard from God for like 400 years. And so there was this massive insurge of hope into the world all of a sudden. And when all of a sudden everyone has this confident expectation, that's thrilling, right? If you are confidently expecting something to happen, there's a thrill in that. That's really exciting. You get thrilled at the thought of something happening when you are confidently expecting it to happen. So if hope doesn't thrill you, it's not real hope. You're just wishing for it. Okay. So we talked about that last week. This week, we are talking on peace. And peace, again, is one of those things that I think, even people that don't know Jesus use the word peace. I'm just looking for peace in my life. I'm just looking for peace, and I would even dare say that, I hear it used very heavily by people that don't know Jesus, right? Where they're talking about peace. We need peace in the world. We need peace. Here's the thing is peace only comes from Jesus. That's it. That's real peace only comes from Jesus. And we're going to talk about that a little bit. So the song Silent Night, we all know it. Silent night, holy night. All is calm, all is bright, round young virgin, mother and child, holy infant, so tender and mild, sleep in heavenly peace. Heavenly peace, okay? So heavenly peace, that's what we're talking about, because that's really the only true peace. Heavenly peace is what we're going to be focusing on today. So Silent Night was written by an Austrian named Joseph Mohr back in the 1800s. And this was just after the Napoleonic Wars had taken place in Austria. And so it's interesting that, Oh Holy Night was written during a time of turmoil as well. Silent Night was also written during a time of turmoil. So I'm finding that a lot of these popular carols were not written in this super jolly, excited, like we're just gathered around the Christmas tree and just, love our lives. They're actually a lot of them written in a lot of oppression and deep sorrow and, heaviness. And because they know that the only way that they're going to get what they need in that moment, peace, joy, hope, all of that can only be found in Jesus. And so a lot of these carols, if you really go back to them, they've been written at a time where times were hard. And so if you think that Christmas is all, if you think that you can't engage in Christmas because you're just not in a joyful mood this year, I'm here to tell you that Christmas is a huge way for you to really engage in Jesus and find the hope and the peace and the joy that you're looking for, because this is a lot of what we know as Christmas nowadays with all of our songs and everything. They were, a lot of them, reaching out for something in a time of darkness and desperation. So they were going through war, and he was a young priest at the time. So he went out and he was just looking for peace. He just wanted to find peace. And he ended up finding a town and was looking over this town, and the town just seemed so peaceful. And that's when he wrote the poem of Silent Night. And he knew that the real peace could only be found in Jesus. And so here's the thing is, peace is, like I said, peace is always, always sought after. Everyone's always looking for peace. But I think we think of peace as the absence of chaos, right? That's kind of what we think of peace is. There's peace and then there's chaos. And those are opposites, where that's not true. Like life is just chaos in general. Like people have been moms for hundreds and hundreds and thousands of years. Okay. So being a mom isn't any new chaos. Having a job isn't any new chaos. By the way, our jobs are 10 times easier than they were way back in the day. Think about when you had to wash dishes way back when, there's always chaos, right? And we always do fill our lives with something else. Like we're always busy or whatever. There's always chaos going on. There always has been chaos. So peace is not a lack of chaos. Those two are not complete opposites. Peace is the lack of Jesus. That's what it is. So even in your chaos in your life, if you have a relationship with Jesus, then you've got peace in your life. You can find peace just by leaning into that relationship with Jesus. So like I said, if we go back into, that time when Jesus was born and all of a sudden peace was injected into the world, right? It had been a time I think often during the Christmas season about what that time must have been like, because if God brings hope and God brings joy and, and Jesus is bringing love and peace and all these things to the world. Well, if God wasn't speaking and Jesus hadn't entered the world yet, what did that time of darkness look like? What did that feel like? That had to have been so heavy and just so awful. But now Jesus is born and we now have hope and we have peace. And so, what's interesting is a lot of these carols, like I said, they're written much later, but they say a lot of the same things, right? So there's a theme of we needed peace in the world when Jesus came. We needed peace in the world when the wars were going on in Austria. We needed peace in the world during World War II when Silent Night became super famous in the United States. We needed peace in the world right now. Right now, we need peace in the world. And it's interesting that I think during the Christmas season, everybody is so excited to jump into the Christmas season so quickly. And I would dare say even more so when they're feeling a lack of peace or hope or joy or whatever. They're just like, I'm going to get into the Christmas season and decorate my tree and get it done really quickly because I need these things. I need to feel good. Well, it's because we are talking a lot more about hope and joy and peace. These are things that people need. And so peace here's the thing about peace. Peace, like I said, can only be brought on by Jesus. He says in John 14:27, peace I leave you, my peace I give to you, not as the world gives, do I give to you. Okay. He says, peace I give you. Peace comes from Jesus. That's it. Peace I give to you, peace I leave you. Okay. So when Jesus came, peace entered the world, and he left it when he went to sit at the right hand of the Father. He left peace with us. So peace only comes from Jesus. In Luke chapter 8, right? That's when the sick woman touches Jesus's cloak and he says, daughter, your faith has made you well. Go in peace. Her reaching in and getting closer to Jesus resulted in peace. So every time we see people leaning in and getting closer to Jesus, it results in peace. Jesus talks about leaving peace many times throughout his life on earth. If you go and look and read on it, he's constantly saying, hey, thanks for engaging in a relationship with me. Here's peace. That's kind of the exchange there. And so if you are feeling a lack of peace in your life, you need more Jesus in your life. You need to lean into Jesus. You need to make that time, okay? Like I said, it's not a lack of chaos. It's a lack of Jesus. So if your life is feeling too crazy and I'm not finding the time to get into my Bible and I'm not finding time to really just love on God, if you're not finding the time, you're not making the time. There's always time for that. You have to really find that time to carve in the time with Jesus if you really want true peace in your life, because you're only going to find that chaos is a little bit easier to manage. You're going to find that suddenly your finances, you're starting to kind of get an idea of God will start speaking to you. Jesus will start showing you how to live your life if you are leaning into him, and he will help you find what that peace looks like. But you need that heavenly peace first. You need a heavenly peace. And I'm going to tell you, I've been walking with Jesus for a while, and there is something about that heavenly peace when I'm going through some really tough stuff that heavenly peace carries me through. Okay. I dealt with, I had a little boy at 22 weeks. I was pregnant. This was my first baby, and we lost him after 22 weeks of pregnancy. And it was the hardest time I've ever been through in my entire life. But there was this heavenly peace that rested on me, and this hope, this confident expectation that I knew I was going to see him again someday. So if you don't know Jesus and you're not leaning into Jesus, you're missing out on some of the best gifts that you could ever receive in this life. Okay. There is a peace, a supernatural peace, I'm sure we've all heard about, that rests on us the closer we lean into Jesus. I think it's fair to say, as our relationship with Jesus grows, so does our peace, right? The closer we get to Jesus, the more peace we receive. If you are feeling a lack of peace in your life, you need to lean in harder into Jesus. Now, here's the thing. It's not to say that you're not going to experience turmoil and rough times or whatever. That's not what that is to say. But it is to say that there is a peace that rests on you in the midst of those things, and that God really can help pull you through those things. And you may not realize it in the thick of it, but you get to the other side of that and you're like, wow, God really helped me through that. I could not have done that without the peace of the Lord. Right. And I'm sure we all have times that we can mark in our lives where we've had that, where it's like, man, I don't know what I would have done if it wasn't for Jesus to carry me through that whole season. Well, it was the peace that Jesus gave you, that because you have that relationship with Jesus, he was able to give you that peace. So with your peace, with you having peace in the Christmas season, what do you do with that peace? Jesus says in Matthew 5:9, blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called children of God. Peacemakers now. So now we're peacemakers. So how are you a peacemaker, right? The only way, first of all, that we can even get that peace is through Jesus. And the second way that Jesus wants to spread peace is through us who have a relationship with him and who he has given, authority to walk and do the same things that he did. So you have to be a peacemaker as well. How do you be a peacemaker? You got to, first of all, we talk about this a lot. You got to ditch the negativity and start talking positively, because negativity does not bring peace, because that is not of Jesus. You need to start serving people. Serving people is going to be one of the best ways that you can find peace in your life. Saint Teresa said, the fruit of service is peace. Okay. The fruit of service is peace. So if we want peace, we need to have service, right? So we need to sow service to get the fruit of peace. So for you to be able to give peace, you need to be serving people and loving people well. You need to be having peace in your life. Lean into Jesus, get that peace, give others peace. And by the way, as you're serving others, that only brings you closer to Jesus, because that's exactly what Jesus did. So it's catch-22 there, but in a good way. You're giving peace and getting more peace. Okay. So the more that you love on people and serve people, the more peace you will receive in the long run. Okay. So peace during the Christmas season, there's a lot of different ways, especially during the Christmas season, that you can love on people. So you can find, a family that needs gifts and give to them. You can make a Christmas dinner for somebody. You can go shovel somebody's sidewalk. You can go and make a meal for somebody. I already said that. You can go and honestly, you could just go and invite someone to have coffee at your house and just sit and talk with them. Sometimes people just need a light and a friend. Okay. There's a lot of different ways that you can offer peace during the Christmas season. My challenge to you, though, is to take that far beyond the Christmas season, because there are so many challenges on how to give this Christmas or whatever. But then Christmas comes and then January hits, and now everybody's like, well, I'm working on me and my new body, and I'm clearing out my house, I'm decluttering, and I'm focused on, we kind of turn very inward once Christmas leaves us. I want to challenge you to actually start giving more. How can you love people more? How can you serve people more even after Christmas? Because Jesus wasn't born on Christmas and then just went away. He walked the earth and he served people, right? For 33 years, he walked the earth and he served people and he loved them well. So do as Jesus does. And even after Christmas, serve people well, walk with them, love on them, be a peace giver, a peacemaker, if you want to be a peace receiver. If you have a hard time leaning into that peace, you need to lean into Jesus more. Okay, so how do you find peace of Christ in your life? Okay, so here's what you need to be doing this week and what you need to be focusing on. You need to carve out time for Jesus. Okay, and I know a lot of us know what that looks like, and some of us don't know what that looks like, and that's fine. I'm here to tell you what that looks like. Okay, go and find a quiet spot. Get your Bible. If you don't have a Bible, download the Bible app on your phone. It's super easy. But go find a quiet spot. I honestly lock myself in my closet because that's my quiet spot. Go where I can't be distracted. And I let David know I'm going to be with Jesus for a minute. So I need you to take the kids because Lord, help me. I need some Jesus. And so he'll take the kids. I'll go lock myself in my closet. And honestly, what I do when I really need to lean into it is the best way for you to start your time is by thanks and giving praise, right? So we bring a sacrifice of praise into the house of the Lord. The reason we call that a sacrifice of praise a lot of times is because we ain't feeling it. So a lot of times it does feel like a sacrifice of having to like, okay, I'm praising you, Lord. I love you. You've given me a beautiful family. You've given me a house. You've given me, and just start thanking God for all the things that he's done in your life. Okay. Praise always comes before the breakthrough. All right. So make sure that you are entering into praise the second you hit your quiet time, the second you hit that. That's the first step into jumping into a quiet time and leaning into relationship with Jesus. Second, the only way you can know Jesus is to know Jesus and who he is, right? So start reading through the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. Those are all of them talk through the story of Jesus and what he did and how he did. They all have different accounts. It's basically the same story told from different perspectives and viewpoints. Okay. That's what I love about it. You can read 4 different versions of Jesus's life. And so, get to know Jesus. You've got to know Jesus. You have to, in order to have that relationship with him. If I want to have, my friendship with Kristen requires me to know Kristen. I have to know her well. I have to know who she is. I have to know who her kids are. I have to know, I know a lot of that. So that helps me to have a deeper relationship with her. So the deeper relationship you want to have with Jesus, the more you need to know Jesus. You need to be in those Gospels and getting to know about him and who he is. And then the last one is just ask when you're closing up that you've read your scriptures. And a lot of times you're like, man, I don't hear Jesus. That's okay. You're getting to know him really well in the scripture right now. You're getting to know who he is. You're getting to know his character. You've given him praise. You've brought what you can bring. Now simply just ask, Jesus, I really need peace in my life. I really need peace in my life. I need some joy. I need to learn how to love people and serve people. Show me the people that I can serve well this week. Bring them into my path. Holy Spirit, I need you to intercede for me because I just don't even know how to go about doing this at this moment. I need some help. And I promise you, if you really pay attention and open your eyes during the rest of the day, God will bring you moments and he will speak to you in different moments. You just need to be aware of that. And the only way that you can be aware of it is to know Jesus. So be into your scriptures, give thanks to the Lord and ask for that peace. And then tangibly, let's be peacemakers. Okay. So who can you help this week? Find 1 to 3 people that you can really, really, really help this week. And I'm not talking in the, I told someone they look pretty today. That was great of me. Okay. That's wonderful. And, we always want to speak kindly and positively, but I mean, actually help. Okay. And you can tell me all day long, I don't have the time to go and do anything. None of us really have the time. Well, it's what you make time for. Is getting peace in your life a priority? Then you need to make those things a priority. You need to make your time with Jesus a priority. You need to make serving others a priority. I promise you 100% that will come back to you tenfold, and you all of a sudden will be finding more time, more peace, and you'll be able to just live in this sense of hope and joy that you've never experienced before. Make time for Jesus, make time to serve others, whatever that looks like. And like I said, that might just be, I want to invite this person over. I don't really know them. It might be a little bit awkward for me because I don't know them. And I don't even know if we would be that great of friends, but I can tell that they need a friend. So I'm going to invite them over for coffee and we're just going to like hang out. Okay. That's going to love and serve them really, really well. Okay. Sometimes being a servant isn't always easy. It's not just doing the easy things. It is a sacrifice and it's leaning into something. And I will tell you, the bigger the sacrifice, the bigger the service, and the bigger what I was literally going somewhere with this, bigger the sacrifice, bigger the service, and the more peace you're going to receive in the long run from that. Okay. So, all right, that's all I have for today. I know we went pretty quick, but we tried to keep it under 30 minutes. Does anyone have anything? Remember, we try to keep our comments just pretty minimal because we have a lot of people on here and I want everyone to be able to have a chance to speak, and we just have a couple minutes left. So does anyone have anything they want to add to this?
Peace is very intriguing. Oh, sorry, Rita.
Go back.
I was just going to say peace is an intriguing thing because, like you say, people keep saying, I just need peace. I just need peace. And they can't find it because the person who's going to give it to them is not in their life. I heard a story years and years ago about Jimi Hendrix. And Jimi Hendrix was looking for peace. And he had said to his audience at a huge concert he was having, I don't know, he died late 60s, early 70s, somewhere in there. But he said, I'm looking for peace. Is there anybody here who can tell me how to find it? This was a man who did drugs regularly. He drank, he had riches, he had fame, he had everything this world could offer him, but he had no peace. Mm-hmm. Not one person in 50,000 knew how to tell him how to find peace. 2 weeks later, he overdosed. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is the state of our world. When 50,000 people are staring at someone and they have zero idea themselves how to find peace, we need to spread more Jesus.
Mm-hmm. Be peacemakers.
Yes.
I was just going to say, don't put your hopes into one person other than Jesus for your peace, because they're going to let you down.
Yeah.
You can't concentrate on a person, but the person. So yeah, that's all.
Good, Rita. Yep. Mom and I and our matching mugs across the country, and we still are drinking coffee together.
Well, we're very much alike, she and I.
Yeah. Anyone else have anything they want to add? No. All right, y'all. We'll go spread some peace this week. We talked about spreading hope last week and infusing hope into the world last week. This week, really focus on that peace. And the more that you do these things, this isn't to say stop doing hope, stop pushing hope. It's to say to add peace this week. We're building on this. And the more that you do these things, the more they just become autopilot and you start operating in the fruits of the Spirit, right? Because we're leaning into Jesus and we're receiving those gifts. So start injecting some peace into the world this week. And then next week, we will be talking on joy, and which I love joy. But anyways, okay. So we will see you guys next week, next Thursday, 10 o'clock. Make sure your teams are here. We will see you guys then.
10 o'clock Texas time.
11 p.m. or 11 a.m. Michigan time. Yeah. Eastern time.
All right.
Bye. Bye.